Hi.
Hey. Oh, that was fun.
Isn't it?
All right. Yeah.
Today has been a roller coaster. Oh my God.
Oh goodness, one of those days, huh?
hmm
Hmm. Well, I'm
So, how are
so
you
glad.
doing?
Say again.
How are you doing?
Roller coaster on my end as well. Um,
I
life
can imagine.
has made a nice little, I guess, imprint on me based off of just the last few months, and I think it's made a good foundation for some growth, but we'll never know until that growth happens. So that's where my life's at right now. How about
Yeah.
yours? How are you doing?
Well, I've been, trying to survive the pandemic.
Hmm.
Um, it's been a roller coaster too, because my daughter, well, you met her when she was little.
Yeah.
She had to do those exams to get into secondary school, which are just over. So I'm
Wow,
now kind of getting
secondary
back to
school.
myself. Yeah, see?
Wow.
That means she's 12 now.
Oh wow.
When you met her, she could have been about 6, so half her age.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Wow.
So, and I've been just doing the mommy thing, but at the same time, kind of having one foot in, one foot out of the industry. But
Mhm.
the most important thing for me has been her, and
Yeah, yeah.
now I feel like she's over the threshold, all the way awaiting results to see what school she goes to.
Mhm.
I feel like I'm in a better place now to kind of reconnect with everything, because while the pandemic was happening and everyone was kind of getting ready to do stuff, or I was just doing a little bit, but not taking all the bookings and not totally immersing myself into it, you know.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
now I feel like I'm in a better place where I can do that. So for
Beautiful.
this whole period, I'm just gonna be so starting from the next 2 days, I'll be on tour
Yeah.
until
Um,
further
I
notice.
guess we just jumped right into it just because we were rushing to get into it. But before we continue, let's start this officially. Everybody, thank y'all for tuning in. This is the 2 Degrees podcast brought to you by the Play On Foundation. Today's guest, I have known her for quite some time now because of the mutual love for carnival, and she is the carnival queen, the queen of Bacchanal, the one and only Destra Garcia. And I'm so thrilled that she's here. So again, thank you so much for coming out and for lending me your time, because I've you're royalty. You're royalty to me. And I I just got to make myself available for this call. Um,
Oh my goodness.
but yeah, I guess one big thing too that I'm so curious to find out is the perspective from artists over the pandemic, and artists specifically in the world of soca, because carnival was in my opinion like the what everybody that I know looked forward to, and people had tickets booked for carnival for so long, and um it the industry itself, the way it travels all over the world, just shut down. So how was it for you?
Well, at first it was a bit surreal. You never get into New Year thinking that a disaster is going to happen or a pandemic is going to
Yeah.
play off. And we were just fresh out off of Carnival in 2020, because we got locked down in March.
Mhm.
We had our first case in March. And yeah, I mean, the lead up to Carnival, which was in November, December, we did hear about the Wuhan virus. And we're like, yeah, we all the way over here in the Caribbean. That's not gonna get here. It's gonna fizzle out. And we did not think it was going to end up being so huge, And
Mhm.
then when it got here, and we realized that national panic broke out, because it's like, it's here, it's spreading. Oh my God, what's gonna happen? and everybody, they locked down schools. Nobody could go to school again.
Wow.
They placed a lot of restrictions in. Now knowing what we know, maybe we could have handled it differently. But remember, it was foreign territory for everyone, so nobody knew how serious or how trivial it would be. Then the next thing you know, we lock down the country and we're not able to leave. So, and it's not just us, it's other countries as well. So
Yeah.
everyone that's locked down, every show that you have in every different place, they're like, okay, well, we're canceling this show because of the pandemic. And it went on and on and on like that. So you found yourself returning deposits, canceling events. And I mean, it's like, okay, no problem. It's better to be safe than sorry. But then it started to get really serious. And then 1 year turned into two. And then, it's like, okay, all the industries are closed, but ours was the first one to close and the last to open. So it was crazy going through that, not just as an entertainer, but as a parent, as a person, even experiencing the multiple deaths that were, just happening. It felt like I don't know. I think it will forever go down in history, in my mind and in my heart, as one of the worst and most memorable periods
Mm.
of time in my lifetime. Yeah.
So then, because of your schedule for the decades prior, where your body, your mentality was already adjusted to, all right, once carnival's done, now it's Jamaica, it's this, it's that, it's this, and it's an entire tour for the whole year. Where did your mind go? And now that you had all of a sudden what I can only classify as all this free time.
Right. So initially, I won't lie to you, it felt like, okay, well, I get an extended vacation. Not bad. I'll watch some TV. I'll catch up on Netflix. I'll watch your movie. But very quickly, I was bored. And I started to grieve this
Wow.
stage. I started to feel empty because at every different time slot where a carnival was supposed to be happening, or a show that you were originally booked for is now not happening, and you're watching the news and you're seeing the cases rising and you're seeing the fatalities, it started to feel like Armageddon. It's like,
Wow.
okay, is this the end of it all? And if it's not, what else do I do with my life? Do I stay locked up in my house forever? When is this going to end? So my mental kind of started to go crazy a little bit, my body also. The exercise that I was used to having, now we couldn't go outside. And not only that, like you said, I mean, the way that our bodies are adjusted to jumping on an aircraft, getting to a country, performing, getting back on the aircraft, coming back home, then going again, to get back into that flow right now, it's almost like a lazy effect for me, because
Mm.
we got a little taste of it last year with Miami Carnival and Thanksgiving weekend, but it was all like just one-offs, and it's like, all right, you do a couple events at the end of the year, but now I'm getting ready to go back on full-time tour. From this weekend, I'm in Grenada. Then next weekend, I'm in Mexico. Then the weekend after that, I'm in Jamaica. Then the weekend after that, I'm in Toronto. Then the weekend after that, I'm in Bahamas. Then it's Memorial Weekend, and I'm
Wow.
in 3 cities. And it's like, wow, this has happened. And I don't know if I can. I don't know if my body is able to readjust to this. Because we took the shows because we're accustomed doing that.
Yeah.
But I don't know, to be honest. I'll be honest with you. I don't know if I'm mentally ready for that grueling schedule again. I'm
Yeah.
not even packed yet to go, and I'm already frustrated because I don't know. Listen, I don't know. I don't know if you can sense the turmoil in my heart, but
Yeah.
it's just different this time around,
Yeah. Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
different.
It feels like your body was so used to it, and the 2 years off was enough of a shock to kind of lose that muscle memory that your body was so accustomed to.
Correct.
Hmm.
It's exactly that,
Wow.
you know?
So
I don't
then
know.
with that now, where then do you get the energy to get through this?
Well, I believe though that, it's been proven to myself that there are many times that I've performed sick before. Um, I'd be really sick, and then I know that I have the commitment of performing, and I'd get to the event, see all my fans, and just completely forget that I was sick. So I'm hoping that the memory, you call it you call it muscle memory of the body, and I'm calling it memory of emotions. That getting to an event, seeing the people, remembering getting on that stage, singing for the first time, or getting to that country for the first time. Because a lot of these shows coming up in the next month, I haven't been there in 2 years. So
yeah,
I hope that it kicks in that killer instinct that I usually have, and it does the rest for me.
wow. I have faith that'll happen.
I
I've
think so too.
yeah, because it's a very infectious feeling. Um, just the vibe of an entire stadium, an entire hall, an entire concert hall, an entire country just ready to just welcome you back to whatever song that you choose to start off your set with. And I'm
Yeah.
yeah, I think it's I wish I could be there. That's gonna be incredible. That's for sure. Oh man, because like I'm in Vancouver, and when I say the soca scene out here is lacking, it is lacking, and I enjoy every second that I head back to Toronto or go to New York and have to hit a fet just because that's where that feeling is. And it's
Yeah.
just such a fun reminder of what we didn't have for 2 years.
Yeah.
So,
No, it's really a release, for
mm,
people that don't understand this music genre called soca. What it really does is give you a medium to really express yourself. We all feel that energy and vibe when we're at home taking a glass of wine or drinking some beers with friends. You might experience it when you're watching a football game or whatever.
mm,
But then it's different when you're in the party environment with your friends and someone on stage tells you to put your hands in the air. It's almost like you release all your stress to the universe, and you're just hypnotized by the music.
yeah,
You're hypnotized by the vibe. You're hypnotized by the energy. And I like to say it like this. I like to say that it's like a ball of energy being bounced around in the fet. So
mm,
when you connect with each person, whether it's the person next to you or the person on the stage or the vibe, the music, whatever it is that connects you, the energy bounces around the entire fet until the entire place is energetic and bouncing around like a ball.
mm, mm. Yeah,
That's what it is.
I like that. I like that analogy. With that, I think that's also a great lead into this question. And I'm pretty sure you've been asked it before, but I haven't heard the answer. But because it's such an infectious music, and when I see people react to it, I can only imagine that people who haven't heard it, when they hear it for the first time, they'd feel the same way. But what do you think it is, and where's the disconnect to soca being mainstream?
Well, there are a lot of different things that create the disconnection. Mainly, when we say mainstream, we're thinking about people that have a different accent to ours.
Mm,
Um, yes, you could argue that Jamaicans have gone mainstream before, but I swear to you, they probably still don't understand the thing they say. Um, but with soca, the beat alone is so it's confusing to the ear of those that prefer simpler sounding tones.
mm,
Remember, we created a bacchanal in the music,
yeah.
and unless your body can feel different beats at the same time, because that's what creates
Mm,
the bacchanal. When your body when your arm feels the hi-hat and your butt feels the drums and your head hears the cymbals, it's like your whole body goes crazy. And then you feel that energy because you go into a party or event. I can tell you that anyone that has never heard soca but has gone to a soca fete and felt the energy, they would be changed forever. It would not be a situation of the music going mainstream. As long as you hear it, you're going to remember the feeling. Yeah. But unfortunately, a lot of people in the so-called mainstream world don't get the chance to experience the power of the music and what it does, because it's an experience, right? So when you listen, you try to listen to it on the radio, you're not going to hear it on America's Top 40 or Billboard Top 100, because all the other songs on there are pretty much very simple in terms of the tones that they use and how much is coming at you musically. But with soca, it's a lot coming at you, and you don't know what to listen to. So it comes across as noise to some people.
Yeah.
To some people, it's going to be noise. But to the soca lover or to the person that has had the experience, they would remember what they're supposed to do when they hear a sound or a beat like this. It's supposed to move you in this way. It's going to move your hip. It's going to move your legs. It's going to make you jump. It's going to make you wave all at the same time. It creates confusion, but it's nice confusion, and you're not going to get that unless you have the experience. So what's stopping it from going mainstream? It's different. It's different. It's very different from everything else. And even the people that have used samples of soca beats, they've had to simplify it way simple for it to be palatable. Like Drake or whoever, they've simplified it so much that they take out all the confusing elements and it sounds, just clean, but then you take away the bacchanal and then it's not soca anymore.
Fair. No, that's an articulated response I've never come across. But with that now, how do you feel when people associate steel pan with Jamaican music?
They associate everything Caribbean with Jamaica. Only because, and it's not a bad thing. It's not a bad thing. It's just that in the world of where you know about the Caribbean, you always think Jamaica first. Oh, he's a Jamaican. Oh, he has an accent. He's a Jamaican. You hear that first. It's now changing where people know of the other countries. Oh, there's a Bajan or there's a Trini. There's someone from the Bahamas. You get to know that there's a lot of us out there, and we're not all Jamaican. But it doesn't feel anyway because it's still Caribbean. At least you identify the fact that it's something Caribbean. It's from the islands, so that's all right. I don't mind it.
Now, with the whole carnival touring the world, where's a country that you didn't expect that soca would reach, that it did, and when you visited, it blew your mind on how immersed that country is in soca? And then the second part to that question is, where or what country do you hope that soca would reach that you would like to visit?
All right. So the first question, there was this time that I visited, well, not this time, I visited Venezuela quite a few times, but on my first visit to Venezuela, and it's weird because they're close to Trinidad and you would think that I would go there in the early part of my career, but it's a predominantly Spanish speaking country. When we went there for their carnival and they announced me, I wouldn't lie, there were probably about 20,000 people in that crowd. Because when I climbed the stage and I looked out, I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of people. And then when they announced my name, they screamed as if they knew me, which they did. And then as I started to sing the songs, they were singing the songs word for word. And I was like, oh my God, they don't speak English, but they know all my words. All right, this is great. And it was easy. It's always easy with a crowd like that, because then you can just continue by bringing the energy and the vibe. And they thoroughly enjoyed it. I went back the following year. That was amazing. So that's the answer to your first question. Your second question, I would like soca to reach to like India, because and they're so conservative, with their dress codes and the type of stuff that they, because we do have chutney soca in Trinidad. And as you know, it's a wonderful blend. So
Mm-hmm.
I would love a huge continent like India to fall in love with soca, and we can go there and perform for them, and they can enjoy it, and just become huge fans of the genre. And who knows, maybe do a Bollywood style, some kind of thing. I think Ravi B and these guys probably have been trying to do that. And
Yeah.
I wish them luck where that is concerned, because it's a huge market that I believe is untapped into, with our actually with the music being in its purest form. Soca, jump and wave, hands in
Mm-hmm.
the air, celebrate, that kind of vibe. Yeah.
I'm surprised that it hasn't yet, because especially when I think Chutney, one of my favorite songs that still gets a play is the one that you have with Sherwin.
Right. Come
And
better.
yeah, like, and it just hasn't reached there yet, or what's what's going on
But
there?
I'm sure there are pockets of people that know soca,
Hmm.
but it's not as big as, let's say, in the US or in Canada, or even in some parts of Africa, or even in Europe, because soca is big in Europe.
Yeah,
Um, but you never hear about it. Like even in Japan, soca is huge.
yeah.
Soca is huge in Japan. Even China, a lot of those Asian countries. But I've never really heard of soca being big in India, you
Hmm.
know?
Hmm.
So that would be something wonderful to behold.
Fascinating. Well, I hope it does that, and I hope that it does it in your generation as well, because yeah, there's so many good chutney artists out there as well, who I feel would just, especially during Holi in India, I feel like it'd be appropriate to
Yeah.
just blare chutney through that. Yeah. But so with that, did you ever feel then that soca, when you first started, did you ever feel that soca would be this worldwide?
Well, to be honest, I was not even sure how far the reach was.
Hmm.
Because originally I did not start off as a soca artist. I used to do calypso as a kid,
Hmm.
and then I branched off into gospel and R&B and pop and stuff. And then by the time I started singing soca, I only could tell you about Trinidad and Tobago, because that's as far as I was. As I started to tour, I realized that a lot of people loved the music. Everywhere I went, the love for the music was evident. People, lost their minds. Carnival was worldwide. So I came out of my box and I started to see the world. So no, I had no idea. But now, telling someone that has never experienced it, they would not believe that. They always say that, you're never a king in your own town. And likewise, the music, even though I think we take it for granted, we really do take the music for granted, and the reach that it has and the power that it has everywhere. You know, um,
Yeah.
it's an amazing music. It's an amazing music. So I really hope I really hope that it continues on this path, continues to get huger, and the rest will be history.
Hmm. Yeah. So when I go to a carnival, by the end of it, I'm spent. I'm done. But for you artists, you don't have that rest opportunity that a carnival goer has. So what does rest look like for you?
Rest is what we got in the pandemic.
That's just
Nah,
years
but
and years of rest.
yeah. I think we got so much rest. We don't
Hmm.
need any more rest.
Hmm.
I think we'll rest again when it's time for us to die. I think we got enough rest to last us for the rest of our lives.
That's so funny.
Yeah. But rest would look like, waking up late,
Mm.
keeping your pajamas on all day, um, going in front of the TV, eating until your stomach just exploded. Um, I don't know, staying away from social media, blocking
Mm.
out the noise. That's what rest looks like.
Yeah,
Sleep and television and food.
sure, sure. Now, for myself, as well as a lot of other artists and other artists that I've brought on to the podcast, rest was something that we all had to learn individually. It doesn't matter how many lessons you were taught about rest being important. We all kind of had to learn it the hard way in a sense. Was it the same for you? Did you have a moment where you crashed and you had that self-realization moment of, yeah, rest is really important for this career to keep on going?
Yeah. I think that happened in the early part of my career when it was probably a carnival in Trinidad and Tobago.
Hmm.
And we were going fete after fete, coming home at 3 a.m., having to wake up at 12, or even having to wake up earlier to do interviews on the radio station. A carnival season is usually extremely hectic, for want of a better word. It's like, especially before, like when you're now coming up as an artist, you really have to make those interviews. You really have to, make those events. And even if it's a small one or a big one, you have to be seen coming up as a younger artist. And I did a lot of that, So performing in bands before, I would do their gigs, and then I would do my solo gigs. So in one night at carnival time, from Thursday to Sunday, we would start off at about 5 p.m. and get back home about 5 a.m. Just doing all the rounds, doing staff parties, doing big fetes, going again. And so it was like fete after fete after fete. In one night, we would probably have about 3 or 4 band shows, and then maybe about 10 to 12 solo events, in one day. And you have to do everything with the same energy. You can't shortchange anyone. So I think I learned at that point what rest really was like, because I did crash. I just couldn't get up, and I was like, look, I'm not even gonna try. I'm not going anywhere until I'm rested. I have to sleep.
Yeah. Wow. Now, have you ever hit that wall of depression in pursuing your artistry? And if you did, how did you get over it?
I would say not in soca, but definitely when I was pursuing my R&B pop career, before I realized that soca is where I needed to be. Just putting in the work and not being able to get out to, let's say, the US to showcase the talent, or working on an entire pop album and not being able to meet the right people. And then just, continuous working and not doing anything with it. And after a while, feeling like, okay, this is my dream, but it's not happening. Time is running out. I'm getting older. What do I do? Yeah, you do reach the point of depression where you just feel like, okay, maybe I should just give up. This isn't for me. Maybe I should just get a regular job. I've had that moment before. I've also had that moment in soca with doing competitions and stuff, making it become the epitome of my goals at that point, and then realizing that, okay, maybe competition is not for me. Because when I perform on stage without it being a competition, I'm killing it. But then the moment I know it's a competition, I mess it up. I mess it all up. It was weird. It was weird. The pressure started to become too much. So that's when I decided no more competitions, because I love what I do. It's a mission, not a competition. Let me just, be in my element. I have 5 minutes to do a competition performance where I need that 5 minutes to get my crowd warm, because of the what I do. It's a whole hour, and it's like, okay, in the first 5 minutes, I'm gonna get them into me, and then after that, it's smooth sailing. How do you do that when you have 5 minutes to do a performance? How it's like you're rushed. It's like, you're not being your authentic self. Some people are really good at it. I am not one of them. And I'm not ashamed to admit that. I'm not one of those people that are good at competitions at all.
So then when you face that depression, how did you get through it? Did you seek therapy? Was it church? Was it the people around you with amazing advice?
Yeah, my family is really a strong support system for me. And we do believe in prayer. So at that point of depression, or feeling like your back is against the wall and there's nowhere to turn, I guess prayer and people around you that you love and trust encouraging you and telling you not to give up, and this is all part of it, you know, it strengthens you. For me, depression and stuff like that, or sadness, it really is just for a time. Because when you really listen to that inner voice and you reignite that fire within yourself, you motivate your own self. You know, you remember that you are enough. You remember that to get to this point from where you were, it's been a long journey and a huge step. So all that you've done before, you can't discredit everything that you've done before, because you were moving. And at some point you're going to stop. But for whatever reason you stop, it's not because you're not good enough. You're always good enough. You've always been good enough. And there's, you know, there's always more to do as long as you're alive, you know. So you just need to keep going. But sometimes you need to be reminded of that. And no matter how many people encourage you or give you advice, sometimes you are the only person that can really reignite that flame within yourself. So, you know, I like to look in the mirror and say, hello, gorgeous. You are enough, okay? You are enough.
No, that's a powerful message too, just to be enough. Because everybody tends to, they want more for themselves, which is a very, you know, feasible thing to wish for oneself. But then to be able to just tell yourself that you're enough, I don't think people do that enough. So
yeah,
I think that's an important message for that. Now, with that, you mentioned about family, and with family and your life, you have evolved into a momager, if you will. So what has that been like, and was that something that was like a hard decision for you to make? Because I know a few other artists who have transitioned into parenthood, and they don't really push the agenda of artistry as much in the household. But then if their child decides to say, I want to try being an artist, then it's like, okay, it's gonna be a long, hard road. So what was your experience with that?
So I always knew that my daughter was going to be interested in entertainment or arts, because from a young age, she was extremely outspoken. She was very personable. She was sociable. I mean, you know her little, so you you know the fire starter that she was, and still is. So I knew it was inevitable, but then I realized that she was really good at academics. So I said, well, okay, maybe her forte would be in this. Maybe she'll be a doctor, maybe she'll be a lawyer. And then I realized she liked reading books, and she started to say, Mommy, I want to be a lawyer. I want to be like Judge. Actually, she said she wanted to be Judge Judy. So I said, well, if you want to be Judge Judy, you have to be a lawyer. She said, well, okay, so could I be a lawyer and then a judge? I'm like, yeah, sure. And then she continued her passion.
But isn't Judge Judy not really a judge?
I don't know. I think she is.
So then she doesn't technically have to. If she just wants to be Judge Judy, I think she just get a reality show where she gets to.
No, I think she's really a judge.
Really?
I do. I think most of those shows, they're really judges. They're really judges. But she's saying to me that this is what she wants to do. So I had a sigh of relief moment. So I'm like, okay, she wants to do academics and she wants to be a regular person. This is wonderful. I don't need to worry. And then out of the blue, her godmother is like, oh, we have an opening for a child to be on television. And, you know, I immediately thought about Zaya because she's so outspoken. And I'm like, I don't know. I don't think, and I had to think long and hard about it. And then when I asked her, she's like, yes, Mommy, I want to do it. I want to do it. And then I was a little worried that she'd probably freeze up in front of the camera, but she didn't, you know, and she went on there and I was so proud of her. It's hard not to be proud of your kid when you're in the arts and you realize that, you know, it's a chip off the old block. It's like, hey, she's good. But then I started to get worried. I'm like, I hope she doesn't like this and want to do this full time. Then she has all kinds of different dreams. She's like, oh, Mommy, you think we could get you think we could get me on Disney Channel? You think we could get me on Nickelodeon? Because I think I can do this. And oh, you know who I like? And I'm like, oh my God, it's beginning. Then I realized that she's starting to become passionate about her piano, and she's playing every chance she gets. She's going downstairs for a glass of water, and then she's sitting on her piano and she's picking the chords and she's trying to learn some of those new songs that she's hearing on the radio. And then I'm hearing her trying to sing it back, and she's trying to be Alicia Keys. I'm like, okay, this is getting more serious. And then she's online, and people, because I developed a social media page for her just in case, as an influencer or whatever, and just in case. And then I realized people starting to like her content and engaging her to do brand promoting and stuff. And I'm not stopping her, because I want her to be the very best self that she can be. So if this is what she wants, no problem. But it's scary because I know what a hard road it is, So then we get the call from Hollywood, and they wanted to do this part. And I'm like, okay, this is really actually happening. And, I'm going with her, and she's reading the lines around the table, and I'm hearing her become the character without actually animating the character with her body, but just her vocals. And I'm like, wow, this is impressive. I mean, I can do this, but seeing her do it, and then the producers of the show saying, wow, she's a natural, I'm like, yeah, she really seems to be, and maybe I shouldn't fight this. I'm going to let her have her moment. I'm going to let her do what she needs to do. And, she just makes me really proud, whether she's doing an ad, reading a teleprompter. I'm just proud of her all the time. And I really do think that she's probably going to end up being the Judge Judy that she wants to be on TV, being a judge, doing it all at the same time. Maybe, who knows? Who knows?
What is your fear for her pursuing the arts?
She's a woman. Right? And it's not fair. The playing field isn't fair out there. Yeah. And that's number one. Number two, there's the predatory aspect if she decides to pursue it too young. Yeah. My other fear is that I'm going to have to probably give my career up, because when you become a mom, your child is most important. And if her career seems to be going in a direction where, hey, listen, I've had my career. I've been doing this for 20 plus years, I think I'm going to probably have to stop and make sure I guide her properly through it, because I wouldn't trust anybody else to do it but me, So because I know what it entails. I know the ropes. Entertainment is entertainment. It's all the same thing. It's all the same contracts. It's all the same BS. It's the same everything, and she's my baby. So I have to be there. Yeah. I have to be there.
So then what was the experience like for you kind of being at these meetings, but in the capacity of the manager and not the artist?
It was kind of weird, to be honest, because for example, I was at I was on set for an entire week, and I was just Zaya's mom. I was just the person that, we need her in 10 minutes. Or is she dressed yet? Send her to makeup or this. And I was just the mom, my job, right? I was not the celebrity at all. Yeah. And I just faded into the background. I wore black every day. I supported her if she was hungry, if she wanted anything. We were there for her. Both of us, both her mom and her dad and I, we were there. And then coming down to the last episode or so, they asked me if I would do a cameo, right? So I came out of the shadows, I got my hair done, and I became the Queen of Bacchanal, right? And then when I walked on set, it was a whole different thing, because I don't know if I was invisible for the last couple of days, but when I came on the set as myself, in all my glory, the hair, the makeup, the outfit, everyone was like, hi, oh my God, I'm such a big fan. I'm like, but I was here all week. It was so crazy. I'm like, I was here all week, and no one even bat an eye, But the minute I came into character and it was time to go on set and do my cameo, it was a whole different energy, But I do appreciate that. I appreciate that because I was able to fade into the background and let her have her moment.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it was weird.
With that, then, when was it that she discovered, not really discovered, but has it landed on her that you are Destra Garcia, Queen of Soca? Or
I
are you
think
just mom?
I think for the most part, I'm just mom when I'm home. I think she has a little bit of um revelation, like the people did on set. When I'm dressed
Hmm.
up and I'm getting ready to go to work,
Hmm.
she's like in awe. She's like, "Oh my God, mom, you look so pretty. Oh my God, mom." You know, or if she's backstage watching me perform, which has happened quite a few times, I would
Hmm.
come off the stage and she would have a big grin on her face. And I would look at her phone and she's taking a million pictures of me on the stage. You know, so she goes into full groupie mode when I'm in that Queen of Bacchanal mode. But when I'm home and I'm just wearing PJs and I have a bandana on my head,
Hmm.
she's like, okay, well, all right, fine, whatever. She's not there. If I'm going to the school and her friends are like, your mom is Destra. Hi, Auntie Destra. And they're freaking out. She's like, it's just mommy. Why are you behaving like that? You know? So I think it only dawns on her when she sees me in character.
Hmm. Hmm. Has there been a memorable, humbling experience when, for some reason, whatever she did just kind of brought you back down to earth of you're just mommy?
Yeah. Couple times when she's gotten sick. Couple times when she's, had to have a cry or when she needed to just talk to me about something.
Hmm.
If I've been busy, because I always tell people it's not easy to do both jobs at the exact same time. If you're going to have a show, you need to prepare mentally. You have to get ready. You have to be in that zone. So I'm glad when I have to tour and it's away from home, that way I can focus on what I'm going to do, my job.
Hmm.
But when I'm home and let's say I have to wake up in the morning to go do a TV interview when she has school and get her ready for school at the same time I'm getting myself ready and trying to be in that zone, it's a little bit difficult. And sometimes, or there's been occasions where I've had to stop doing what I'm doing and be there for her because that's the most important job, you know. And she knows that. She knows that no matter what I'm doing, I'll stop everything in a second for her if she needs me to.
Hmm.
And yeah, that whole idea of mom, is very, very much what I respond to first now.
Hmm.
I respond to that first. I'm always making sure that she's fine. Even if I go on tour, I'm, laying out the law. This is what she does. This is what she doesn't do. Make sure you don't give her phone until the weekend. And when you do give her the phone, make sure you check it. I'm always on the ball with that. But
Yeah.
it's my first job. It's my first and most important job, being her mom.
Hmm. So how often does she tour with you?
On the vacation, as long as, well, before the pandemic, because she hasn't been on tour with me since then.
Yeah.
She used to go on tour at Easter vacation, but she would go on tour for summer vacation, Christmas vacation. As long as school was out, she'd be on the road with me. And she really liked it. I was concerned about the fact that she wouldn't get much sleep because we're picking up and leaving and going and coming. But she quite enjoyed it. She liked the fact that she would get to dress up. She liked the fact that, she would be hopping planes. She enjoyed it.
Yeah.
I really do think she was born for this. So
Ooh, that's a strong statement. That's exciting to see what comes of that now. What's I guess the root message for Zaya as she's diving into her artistry? What's something that what's the reminder for her to, I guess, keep her grounded?
well, that's just it. That's it right there.
Hmm.
To remind yourself every day to stay grounded,
Yeah.
as an entertainer or someone in the limelight, someone that is famous, it's so easy to get lost in the hype of it
Hmm.
all and forget who you actually are at heart.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
you have to constantly remind yourself that you are you are not bigger than what you know you are or who you know you are.
Yeah.
You have to be really true to yourself and remember. And I think the truest part of ourselves is that person that we have known, that we've grown up with before the fame and before the money and before the power and before, the celebrity. that person who maybe likes curry chana, or that person who likes to just sleep in bed all day, or that person, you know, you never know. That person who your parents knew, your sister knew, that good friend, that good sister, that, you know, that mother, whoever you are at heart, what makes you happy? That's a place that you need to keep going to when things get crazy and things get fake. You know, we live in a social media age, and social media is so fake that some people just get caught up with their own hype. They really do. You know, they put a lot of things out there to make people believe that they are this when they're probably half of it or a piece of it. But, you know, they're not that. And then they believe their own hype. They go through their social media and they're like, oh, I'm like this, I'm great. But that's not the truth. You are only who you are. And you know, when you realize that, when you fall from grace, when the fame is gone, let's look at some people that, you know, have fallen from grace. Most recent, Will Smith. I am a huge Will Smith fan. And I mean, I don't want to say comment too much on what he did, but look how quickly the people that love you turn against you. And then what do you have? What do you have? All you have is yourself and the core of your being, whether you're a religious person, whether you're a praying person, whether you're a person that is loved by your family, the core of who makes you who you are, that is what is real. Not all the other things that are added on, because they could be gone in a second. The fame, the power, the love of the people, it could be gone in a second. So that's why you need to stay grounded, humble, and stay within the realm of who you really are. Because when everything else is gone, that's all you're going to be left with. That's all you're going to have.
What's your method for remembering that? Because I'm sure to have a mindset like that, it takes some practice. It's not just a mindset that you can just have overnight. You need to practice it. So what was your reminder getting into your career to stay grounded?
Right. Well, I have tasted failure, you know, I have tasted failure. And I try to remember that failure when I get too excited or too over the top. I remember what that felt like. And it does two things. It makes me work hard continually, but it also makes me remember that in a second, I could feel that feeling again, you know? So a lot of times when people are not grounded, they tend to be, you know, pompous or overconfident. They treat people badly. I try to remember that, you know, everything could be taken away. So be nice all the time. Be considerate all the time. Help somebody every single time you get a chance in your industry, you know. Always offer a lending hand, because the time might come when you may need one, you know. So I just try to remember and stay focused on times when I failed, or times when it was not so bright, or times when it wasn't everything that I expected it to be. Even in the moments when it's like awesome or just huge and I'm enjoying that, I'm like, okay, but relax, take a breath, calm down. Okay, this is great, appreciate it and give thanks for it, but at the same time, don't be too over the top and too above yourself. Stay humble, stay grounded, stay focused, keep going, because you're not yet at the place where you believe you're going to be. You're still climbing. Let's go, you know?
Do you think you have, I guess, a way you can explain where, because I'm still trying to find the answer myself, but when you pursue the world of art, you have to have this air of confidence about you that tells you that you can do it. But then where's the line that reminds you that you can't be too caught up in that mindset, where you have to remember that there's always work that needs to be done? Where's that humbling line?
Well, I don't know how a lot of people do it, but I can tell you how I do it. I
Yes.
separate myself into Destra and the Queen of Bacchanal, right? When I'm Destra, I'm my humble self. I am a mother, a wife. I'm just a regular person, right? When I put on my clothes and it's time to perform, I become the great big bad Queen of Bacchanal. But it's fine at that time because I'm needing that confidence that you're talking about. So it's like I put on the clothes, I become Superwoman, you know? But when I'm not in the clothes, I'm just regular person, a journalist or whatever, like Superman used to be when he was, when he was Clark Kent. So see, even in comics, they show it to you. They have a regular persona, and then they have the superhero persona to get them to do the acts. Even Batman was Bruce Wayne, and then he was Batman. So you try to differentiate between the two so that you know that at the end of the day, when the uniform comes off, when the outfits come off, you're back to being yourself. And then you just be the best self that you can be in that moment. When you put on the clothes and you go on stage, people expect a lot from you. So it's okay to be cocky then. It's okay to be confident then because you're on stage and you're putting on a show. But then when you climb the stage and come off, when you come off the stage, you're back to yourself. And that's where the line is.
So then, what was that experience like learning that lesson? What was it like bringing that stage presence home and then realizing that I need to separate that stage presence from who I really am?
I think when I did my first song, I think I sang Tremble It. That year, everywhere that I went, people recognized me. People, I don't like to say the word worship, but it's like, oh my God, we love you so much. Oh my gosh, take a picture with me. And people knew me. I was like huge in that year because I was, breaking out. I was now, coming out of my shell. And I think I started to believe that this is who I am now. This is who I am now. And the following year, I had no hit song. And all the same people that were acknowledging me the year before were not acknowledging me anymore. In fact, they were acknowledging new people because remember, that was my first year. And to them, I was like a one-hit wonder because they're hearing about me for the first time. And the following year, they're not hearing about me. And it's like, who's this girl? It's so all the love and attention that I was getting before, the year before when I had a big hit, the year when I did not have a hit, which was the year right after, people would see me and not make a fuss. Nobody wanted pictures. Nobody wanted autographs. Nobody was singing my song. I was just regular again. So I was knocked straight off that pedestal. And I think a lot of artists go through that the year after having a huge monster track. And then I said, because I told you I'm a praying person, I was like, okay, God, please, if you give me one more hit song, I promise not to lose myself. I promise to stay grounded. I promise I would not make the same mistakes that I did when I thought that the artist and the person were the same. And then the following year is when I sang It's Carnival, right? I sang It's Carnival. In fact, that year I released my first album and I had like about 4 hits on it or 5. There was Up in the Air, there was It's Carnival, there was Come Better, there was a lot of songs. There was a lot of songs on that album. And here I was, even huger than the first year when everybody was in my face. And I kept telling myself, you've tasted failure. Don't get caught up in your own hype. This could be all gone by next year. So enjoy this moment. Be nice to everyone. Be true to yourself. Remember who you really are. Because if this goes away, then you're going to be knocked really hard off this pedestal. Please don't climb this pedestal. Just focus and keep it moving and keep working towards the next step, And that was my first album. I'm 16 albums in, continually working. I've seen artists come. I've seen artists go. I've seen the one-hit wonders. I've seen people compete with me. I've seen people fail. I've seen it all. And I'm still here. Yeah. I'm still here. And, I'm really grateful for that. I'm grateful for the fans. I'm grateful for the people that support me, the people that come out to my shows, the people that chant my name on the stage. I'm really grateful for that, being able to have such a lucrative career. It's been a little over 20 years now in business. And as a female, that is not an easy feat. I've seen many females fall on the wayside, and I'm really thankful that I've had such a good career. I'm really, really grateful. I'm thankful. I'm grateful. And I'm still pushing. Because I haven't gotten yet to where I want to be.
Which is in Hollywood, because you're going to pursue you're going to pursue that role, that one cameo, and you're just going to get onto the next big screen project that's happening. And
Wow.
Marvel, that's where we're headed, right?
Right. Yeah, Marvel. The superhero, the queen of Bacchanal.
What's your power going to be?
Making people forget themselves and just, like my power would be what my power is now, making people forget that they're in debt, they're heartbroken, they're suicidal, and just enjoy themselves with me and let it all go for that moment, and hopefully it lasts. That's going to be my superpower. One touch or they're going to hear my voice and they're going to be immediately in another world. Yeah.
I think that is the perfect description of what a queen of Bacchanal should be about.
Yeah.
That's awesome. I love that. And with that, Destra, thank you so much for the time that you're able to lend. And as you go on to your tour, your welcome back tour, if you will, I gotta express that I'm just so grateful that you were able to lend me this time and share your thoughts and wisdom. So thank you so much.
Of course. I'm glad you had me. So thank you for having me.
My pleasure. And hopefully maybe get you back after all the touring has eased up a bit and Zaya is getting her first Academy Award.
Oh, wow. Wouldn't that be a moment?
Putting that out there.
I appreciate that. Yeah, man. Of course. It would be nice to do a follow-up interview so that, you got me at the point where I'm getting ready to do these tours, my inhibitions and my fears, and to hear about it after, where I could say, oh my God, you should have been there. It was so amazing. And this happened and that happened and this. Yeah.
There.
Yeah.
Well, I might be in Toronto for if is it for Caravana that you're scheduled to be there?
I'm there before because I'm there next month on the 15th. But I'm also going back for Caravana weekend. And then I'm going out to Ottawa and where's that other place, boy? I can't remember, but I'm going to be doing a Canadian tour somewhere July, August.
Okay. Come to Vancouver. Oh, man, that'd be nice.
Of course. Let me know. Let me know who we need to talk to.
Yeah, make that happen. But everybody, thank y'all for tuning in to 2 Degrees Podcast, brought to you by the Play On Foundation. Destra Garcia. If you're a Soca fan, you already know her. But if you're not, head on to YouTube, head on to Spotify, type her name in, and just listen to the magic that comes out of your speakers. But other than that, thank y'all for tuning in, and mag-ingat kayo.